Hey, it's Will. I just got back from New York, and here's what happened. So going into this New York trip, let me back up. The first time I went to New York to do stand-up was in August of last year. What was that? I hated this. August of last year. And I went with my buddy Brent, and he was doing Gotham Comedy Club, and I was doing guest spots there. And the goal of the trip was to establish myself in New York as a comic, right? I'd never done it before. So I was like, what a perfect excuse, because I know I can jump on a few of his shows, try to get a few of my own. Boom, there's a weekend. And the whole trip was fantastic. It was so good to a point where I was like, should I move to New York? This shit was amazing. It was really fun, legit great. And I also was staying with my uncle and aunt who live in the Upper West Side of New York. And if you know anything about New York, that is the nicest neighborhood in the city. And they live in a luxury apartment. I mean, it was in hindsight, I got spoiled for my first New York trip. It was a perfect experience. So, second New York trip, it was all me, solo dolo, doing my own thing. And up until a few hours before Thursday, or Thursday night rather, I had 5 shows. 5 shows total, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Pretty good for 3 days. I was pretty happy with that. 5 is good. The first night, I get there, took a red eye, which a red eye going East Coast is nice because you get in at 5 a.m. and then, but West Coast time, that's 2 a.m., which is when I would go to sleep probably. So in a way, it kind of works out well because I just get into New York, go to sleep, wake up at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I don't really know, and then go about my day and kind of got a decent amount of sleep. So I stayed with my buddy, another comedian, John Campanelli, who's very funny. You should look him up. Great guy, and he let me crash on his little day bed. It was kind of like a pull-out couch, but more of a bed situation. And here's the video of what it looked like. I made it. Good morning from New York.
There's the only good thing, there's a lot of stuff walking distance. So if you want to pick yourself up some waters and shit like that, there's stuff close.
All right, sweet. What's crazy about New York, dude, is here's the first reason I would never live in New York is guess how much that place was. I'll just tell you. So my place, this is my place, as you can tell, is a 1-bedroom. My address is no, I'm kidding. I don't really want to tell you what I pay, but I pay, let's say, I pay under $2,000. For that place, it's like a glorified studio. He pays almost $2,500. And so that's reason enough to be I'm good on New York. So anyways, I get in, I get some sleep, and the first show I had was at a place called West Side Comedy Club, which I had never been to, and it was a very last-minute thing. Before the trip, I only had the 4 shows lined up, and I was like, man, I really wish I could get one for Thursday. So I just cold emailed 7 or 8 clubs with the generic bullshit email thing, just the info at one of those, and one of them got back to me. I don't know if it helped with the social media following because I put that in there with hopes that the booker would be like, oh, he's not just some idiot. And it worked. The woman who ran West Side Comedy Club was like, yeah, come do a guest spot on Thursday, 10 minutes. And I was like, nice. Real pumped about that. I was really excited. Probably the best I felt, honestly, was on the way to that first show in hindsight because I was so excited to be doing comedy in New York again. Get to the show, I'd say maybe 30 people were there. And it's a small room, so 30 is nice.
What I'm doing. Comedian struggle. Oh, God, that's awesome. Art history, what's your name?
Hi. What's up? One time with Jabron, man. Let him hear it. Hello, everyone. How are you? Nice to see you. Very cool. Me with better hair. What's up, man? It's immediately insecure. That's great. I had 10 minutes. I turned out, overall, I had a good set. I had a good set overall. I didn't destroy, but I did well. It was a good set, but I didn't plan it well. I did 10 minutes, and the set I was planning on was easily a 12-minute set. So when I got the light, which means you got to wrap it up in either 1 minute or 2 minutes, I was like, uh-oh, and I rushed through my last joke, which is one of the strongest jokes that I have. And which is so annoying because you're like, fuck, the best, had I known that, I would have done X, Y, and Z because I want to get to the best joke, right? So that was a real bummer, and they were like flashing the light at me, kind of being like, "Hey, get the fuck off stage." Got off stage, and the booker was like, "Good job." Later in an email, she said, "Great set." So that's all that really matters. But this whole vlog series is about the inside the mind of a comic. So sure, if the booker says great set, next show. But that's not how we work. That's not how I work. I was kind of annoyed about my set because I was like, man, I rushed it. This didn't work. It was like, I was very nitpicky. And I also got the energy of the other comics on the show really didn't give me a lot of love at all. They didn't really say anything to me. They would skip over me to talk to someone else. And in my opinion, I think it was more along the lines of like, who's this? I think it was more along the lines of like, unless I crush, they're going to be like, who's this LA fuckboy coming into our city? I think that type of vibe. So just not a good vibe, not like a great vibe there. I thought the booker was awesome. She was super nice to me. So no knock against her or the club. But I think the other comics were kind of like, who's this fucking kid? Which is fine. I'll earn it. I'll earn my place. It's fine. I'm not worried about that. But that was the vibe I got. So I kind of left feeling like, all right, whatever. It's like, all right, did what I could. One set in the night. I was like, I can't redeem myself. Time to move on. Next night, I had 2 shows. The first was at Stand Up New York, and that club has been the club that's legit embraced me in New York. The booker named John, he really likes me. He says like I'm his go-to guy in LA, and the club is awesome. I had such a good experience there the first time, and just truly just felt like actually embraced by them. I knew one other showrunner. It was just like kind of like it didn't feel like coming home, but it felt very familiar when I walked in, and that's the goal. Is you want to go to a club and people know you feel comfortable there. That's so Stand Up New York, man, shout out to that place. I love it there. But first that I had there was it was like good, but it was not at all what I wanted. I wanted to get up there and like crush, because I've done very well in that room, so I knew that what was possible.
What's your name, man?
Eric.
Eric, nice. Are you from somewhere different? Where are you from? Oh, France. Oh, good. Oui. What do you do in France, Eric? For work?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. Very cool. I'm sure you relate a little bit to what you're talking about. You're like, yeah, Zibacon does bullshit. That was the first time I've ever done a French accent. That wasn't bad for the first try. I don't know. What do you teach? Math. Very cool. Nice. Oh, sorry about the trigonometry joke. I apologize. I'm just showing trigonometry. Like, this man does not get it. Does not understand the value of trigonometry. Alright, now it's getting German. Sorry, man. Bad accent. Not an accent guy.
I did well, but again, I didn't really give it to him. And then from there, I went to this independent little comedy club in Brooklyn called the Tiny Cupboard. Never been there before. Also didn't realize how far it was. Brooklyn is like an hour away from Manhattan. Like an hour train ride. It's pretty far. But Tiny Cupboard's like kind of even further. It's like far as shit away. It's really far. I didn't really know that until I was actually making the journey. You got to take 2 different trains, walk 10 minutes. It was like, whoa. It was a schlep.
They're sick. Alright. Sick people. You seem so soft. I just saw you being violated up here.
Got there, I was doing a guest spot on The Late Show. They tried to get me on the early show, which is like the good one, but I couldn't do it because of Stand Up New York, and it takes me 5 hours to get to Brooklyn. So I jumped on like the kind of the other independent 10 p.m. show, and I did an 8-minute guest spot there, and I did really well, but not what I wanted. It was the same vibe of Stand Up New York. It was very much like, yeah, that was good, but I didn't like really fucking bring it. What was interesting is this is my first time really spending time in Brooklyn, and all I've heard is that it's very like hipster kind of for my LA people who are watching this, like very East LA, Silver Lake type of vibes. And that's what I've been told by other comics. And it was pretty accurate. There was a group of people who were very like outspoken, progressive. Not that there's anything wrong with being progressive, but it was kind of like, hey guys, shut up. It was kind of that vibe of like, they were chiming in on everything, like talking the whole time. It was just like really annoying. Very like entitled kind of. I don't think that's all of Brooklyn, but just these people, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get what they're talking about now. They didn't do much during my set. I handled it pretty well, but it was just like, yo, guys, shut up. You go to a comedy show, just shut up. Unless someone talks to you. If someone talks to you, you can talk back to them, but just don't say anything. Anyways, and then I went back. I tried to take the train back, or I did take the train back. This is the first night of just bullshit travel that I had to deal with in New York. So in New York, there's 1,000 different trains, and luckily Google Maps tells you pretty much exactly where you need to go, like exactly the train, the times. It's fantastic from someone who's as clueless as me. By the way, you can use Apple Pay to get on the train. You walk in, tap your phone, and walk on the train. Fantastic. Game changer. So I was waiting for my second train. So I took the Brooklyn train to the city. And in the city, I was going to get another train to go back up to the Upper East Side, which I was staying. And I was waiting for the yellow Q train, right? And in comes the yellow N train. And everyone on the platform goes on that train, except for me. Because I'm like, I'm waiting for the Q train. This isn't the Q train. This is the N train. I don't know where the fuck this is going. Have fun on that train, guys. You're going to Queens. Have fun. I don't know where that is. So now I'm the only dude on the platform, and I'm like, all right, shit, maybe that was my train. And then it said the next Q train, 20 minutes. And I was like, Jesus. And the Brooklyn train was already delayed. So now I'm like deep into the night. I just want to be home. And it's cold as fuck. Okay? The Brooklyn platform was outside, and this one thankfully was inside. But I was like, yo. I had one of those days where I like forgot to eat meals. I had like one meal, and then I just didn't eat. And I was like, oh, it's midnight. I've never had that happen before. I always made fun of people who forget to eat. I'm like, how do you forget to eat? It's like the number one thing we're supposed to do. So 20 minutes later, or I'd say 18 minutes later, I'm tracking the thing on my phone. I'm like 2 minutes away. The Q train is 2 minutes away. Up comes another N yellow train. And I'm like, you're not going to get me. That's not my train still. But again, like everyone gets on it. And there's definitely a part of me that's like, oh, should I get on it? I was like, should I get on this train, take a risk? But I was like, I don't want to end up somewhere else because I've already been waiting so long and the first train sucked. I was like, no way. I'm gonna wait 2 minutes away. That's my Q train. Doors close. I look at my phone and it said Q train arriving now. And then train goes away. So that was my train. Look at the thing. 20 minutes until the next Q train. So now I'm furious. Because it's like, how am I supposed to know that that's the right train? It didn't say, hey, take the Q or the N train. Oh, yeah, while you're at it, take the P train. Take the B train. Take any train. None of this fucking matters. It was ridiculous. I was like, how am I supposed to know that? Just because it's yellow, I'm supposed to know? A Q. You said Q, I'd go Q. So at that point, I was like, all right, I'm Ubering home. Took a $50 Uber. Was mad the whole time. Anyways, so that was basically Friday. So kind of it was like two shows that were just I didn't love either of them. And then the train debacle, I was like, yo. I was like, all right, New York's kind of kicking my ass a little bit. You know, I wasn't like having a great time. It was a lot of stress and I was cold. So it was just, I don't know. And a lot of it was my fault, but had the shows been stellar, I probably would have thought differently. So Saturday came along. I had some free time during the day. And I went kind of exploring around a park near the water, saw the bridges. It was really beautiful. I felt really great. It was just a fun time walking around. I truly enjoyed that. After that, so I had the same night as Friday, but reversed it. So the first show was at the Tiny Cupboard place in Brooklyn, and then Stand Up New York after. It was like 8 and 10. First show, Tiny Cupboard, it was a better crowd, no entitled idiots saying anything. Went up and had a pretty good set. Had like a pretty good set. But I had one joke that felt like really hard. And it was a joke that normally kills. Like in Tempe, it got like applause. And this place, it was like, haha.
You gotta have at least 3 inches up here to get this 3 inches down here, all right? We're talking about this.
You gotta have at least 3 inches up here to get this 3 inches down here, all right? We're talking about this.
It was a good set, but that one joke really didn't work. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, another moment of like, what happened? So did the best I could. Anyway, so I go to take the train back to the city. This time I took a different train. I said, no, I'm not messing with the outside platform anymore. I'm going to go take a different train. Took a different train. I take it one stop, and they say, hey, this train is no longer running. Go take a shuttle if you want to get back. I'm like, what's happening right now? How do people travel in this city? I got to make it back for a spot. Now I'm stranded in Brooklyn. I made it one stop. I got to make my spot. Ubered again. Goddamn $50 or whatever to get to the city. Mad the whole time. Traffic, everything. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Get to Stand Up New York. I had time to kill. They're running late, which usually happens with late shows. I should have realized that. Booker was there. We had a great conversation about because I know that they do headlining shows, like one night headlining shows, Wednesday, Thursdays. And long story short, with how things are going with my career and social media, especially Instagram, I'm kind of getting to the point where I feel like I can start doing these one night headlining shows. And so Stand Up New York is a place that already likes me. The Booker likes me. I'm like, that could be a great opportunity, right? So we had a conversation about that, and it landed with him saying that he'd be willing to give up like a Friday night for me to headline, which would be awesome. So that was a big win. That was probably the biggest win of the trip, is having that conversation and him multiple times around the club walking around being like, yeah, that's Will. He's got a headline here. So that felt really good.
Yeah. So Boston's like one of those cities that love 6th Street.
Go up and do my set, and it's more packed than the last night. Crowd seemed pretty good, and I got up there, and it was. I started kind of having the same type of energy of like, yeah, doing well, but you're not killing. And I remember being on stage, knowing that it was my last show, and it was the same type of vibe that was happening before. Of like, yeah, another whatever 8 out of 10 set that's like I'm not happy with. And I remember during my set, I remember thinking, fuck this. I'm crushing this set. No way am I letting that happen again. And all of a sudden, I kind of like turned the intensity up and kind of got angrier. I kind of was like telling people jokes like this almost. I wasn't pointing at them, which would be hilarious if I was like, I'm funny, I promise. But it was just very much like, I was like really hammering them home, and it fucking worked. I started like killing. You can see it in some of these clips that I'm going to show, because I don't want to give away all the full jokes, which I've said before. But here's just some clips, and you can see it almost in my face where I'm like mad, but in a way of like I want to just fucking crush
Every night for a goddamn year.
So I got off stage and I was like, finally, that was it. That was the one that I liked. And then that was it. And then I had to wake up and catch a flight in the morning. And so my flight was at 11, and I'm in the Uber on the way to the airport. And I'd say an hour before the flight, I'm like just approaching JFK. My flight gets canceled. As if almost for New York to be like, nah, bro, you ain't getting off this easy. We've been fucking you this whole time. We're going to do one more to really show you that we're the shit. You little LA bitch. Go back to LA. Well, or not anymore. You're staying here now. Get back on the LMNOQ train, you idiot. By the way, quick tangent before I leave. JetBlue was who canceled my flight. And if you watched my Austin vlog way back a couple months ago, they also canceled my flight. So at this point, I'm kind of like team fuck JetBlue. But what I'm realizing with that stance is like, but everyone has their bad airline experience, and then they're like, I hate that airline now. Right? Like, I'm sure there's 1,000 people who are like, I love JetBlue. I did before all this happened. And like me, like I love Southwest. Southwest and Delta have been great to me. I'm sure there's 1,000 people who are like, fuck Southwest and fuck Delta. So it's like, am I really team fuck JetBlue? I don't know. They screwed me 2 times. We'll see what happens. But I ended up getting on a standby flight. 2 hours later, I got on it. You should have seen the chaos at JFK, though. I mean, it was like, I was so tired and so delirious. I wasn't even mad about the canceled flight. I was just like, of course this happens. I was just like laughing because it was just chaos. I mean, everyone was on their phone. Everyone was panicking. I mean, it was like just the shit you see on Twitter where you're like, whoa, that would suck to be in that airport. That's what it was. So I got hooked up, man. There was a few really nice people that helped me out. So, which was awesome, man. It gives you faith in humanity. But I got home and it was over. But I will say this, man, as fun as the shows were and as happy I am that I went, I'm not in a rush to get back. I got to be honest. It was tough, man. New York kicked my ass. The shows, I think I could have done better, and the travel was brutal. I learned from it, gained some good perspective. It's all really good experiences for me to go through, and it kind of is what it is. And I am so happy to be home. I really appreciate you guys watch this because this is I'm kind of just always evolving this. At this point, this is like a podcast and a vlog, which is cool because that way I don't have to do both. I could make one, I don't have to do a podcast with 80 views and then a vlog with 100 views. I could combine them into 180 views. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'll talk to you soon.
At night.